They start doing drugs again, they come back. But from 2 years from now, we only have one prisoners. I've seen maybe 100 people left the jail, but I see one in 2 years who came back to jail.
Cape Verde, a country of rolling hills and pristine beauty, knows that it has to roll over the hill of drugs, which has cast a blight on its beauty. So, with the help of some international agencies, sensitization is an intense national project involving youths and even educational institutions.
Criamos desde 2001
We create units which organize information activities, sensitization, training with different target groups. Many activities organized with the youth and families. The need to work with the families has been one of our priorities, and they also work with other groups considered risk groups. Other than that, other activities have been organized, such as radio programs, television programs, all information and training programs for the population in general, but mainly for the youth.
Since 2005, we have a program for the spare time of the youth and sensitization campaigns. We organize sporting activities because the message is passed in those activities where the youths are gathered, and we organize championships amongst communities.
In Guinea, sensitization is a primary agent the country seeks to use as a catalyst for change. For a country which had become so associated with illicit drugs, it is a battle for the soul of the country.
It was seen as the drug hub of West Africa. We were pained to see the image of our country tarnished, but we had to accept it because we lived off the process of drugs. Everybody was involved. I mean the general administration, civilian, military, police. At the time, 40% was involved. What we have always lacked is the political will. Today, the democratically elected president, Alpha Condé, has decided to establish this general secretariat and place it under his watchful eye. This shows that henceforth, we have done away with all external influence.
An interministerial committee has been established to give impetus to the country's campaign. There is even an institute devoted to the study of illicit drugs. Guinea is high on determination, but determination is not enough where funds are scarce. Guinea is not exactly prosperous at the moment.
Our resources are limited, but we have courage and political will.
With the aid of the European Union, the Guinean government, through the Committee on Drugs, developed its first national action plan on the fight against drugs with 11 important projects. This involved the education sector, youth ministry, social affairs, information and communication. The problem of finance. This is the problem confronting the Interministerial Committee in Guinea with regards to the fight against drugs.
With no funds, there is little hope for rehabilitation of drug addicts in Guinea. There is actually no facility for rehabilitation or program for reintegration in the country. The treatment of addicts is the responsibility of the psychiatric unit at the teaching hospital in Conakry. This serves the whole of Guinea and reportedly some of her neighbors. The hospital, and by extension the country, has only one trained toxicologist.
We are the only psychiatry for the whole country. We receive not only from Guinea, but also from neighboring countries. There are no rehabilitation centers, no social integration centers for these patients. When they leave the hospitals, there ought to be a center for these people with drug problem to care for them. But when they leave, they are found in the streets, in the families, and then they return to drug again.
This is the burden parents of addicts in Guinea, such as Diarake Condé, have to bear. He struggles with the mental agony as the future of his son, being treated by Dr. Keita in the psychiatric ward just behind him, hangs in the balance.
If I say I wasn't affected, that would be the worst lie. This may sound religious. I am Alaji, and my wife is Alaja. When we were told that our son is using drug, that touched us. We were affected. It was like having a child that doesn't reflect the reputation of the family.
Many addicts do not actually present psychiatric symptoms, meaning that in Guinea they have nowhere to turn to if they need help to kick the habit. Most countries in West Africa are at this crossroad.
There is no family in West Africa now that is not touched one way or the other by the use of illicit drug by young people in their respective families. It is ruining our youth. It is ruining the economies of our countries, and it is ruining governance.
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has long identified the menace posed by drugs. In 2008, ECOWAS heads of state endorsed a regional policy on drugs with an action plan. It has a balanced approach covering both the supply and demand elements. ECOWAS coordinates regional strategies to stem the flow of drugs into the region. It is also driving the drug demand control component. This is why it brought together experts in Accra to devise strategies for drug demand control.
Advocacy for prevention, for treatment of this increasing drug abuse has to be evidence-based. And evidence-based means we have to set up structure that will allow us to effectively gather information, analyze that information, and share it to the various stakeholders who will be able to implement these decisions for the benefit of our community citizens.
Obviously, the capacity of most member states in this regard is severely limited, and they need help, especially for building capacity.
En Guinée, la réalité du terrain montre que
Unfortunately, in Guinea, there is no center for rehabilitation for former drug addicts. A center was provided for in the first National Drug Action Plan, but due to financial constraints, this gap remains to be filled.
I believe there is need to strengthen the ECOWAS actions and activities. The meeting held a while ago in Accra concerning prevention and reduction of drug use was of extreme